Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. Players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. The real threat to our league isn't money, it isn't ratings, or even missed calls. It's the lack of accountability from the league.
I just cashed out Monday Night Football and pulled in over $500 from only 3 plays. Yeah, you heard me, $500 straight to the account. And it's not just me either. My Instagram followers been flexing too, showing off their wins in the DMs like it's a money parade. If you haven't hopped on Prize Picks yet, you're sleeping. Use my promo code microphone and you'll get $50 in lineups when you drop just $5 or more. That's basically free money waiting to flip. And now for Thursday Night Football, I'm lining it up big time. Christian McCaffrey smashing over 39.5 rushing yards, that's easy work. Devontae Adams? Man's been in the end zone every week, and I'm locking him in to torch San Francisco again. Plus, I got Puka Nacua putting up at least 70 receiving yards. He's been a machine. If all 3 of these hit, that $50 bet flips into $150 real quick. Tell me that ain't sweet. But here's the thing. I don't just drop picks on YouTube. My Instagram story's been popping off with daily plays, and my squad in the Fantasy ACES Discord been eating non-stop. Links down in the description if you want to join the winning table. Huge shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's video, because this run has been wild. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Now let me set the scene real quick, because this is where all the madness started. Just a couple days ago, the Minnesota Lynx got bounced out the playoffs by the Phoenix Mercury, and it ended ugly. In the dying seconds of Game 3, Napheesa Collier went down on a controversial no call, and head coach Cheryl Reeve was left fuming on the sideline. Ejected trying to storm at the refs, yeah, Cheryl Reeve lost it. After that brutal finish, she tore into officials with a fiery 2-minute rant, calling the officiating straight-up effing malpractice. Her exact words? For the leadership to deem those 3 people semifinals playoff worthy is malpractice. That heat got her suspended for Game 4, and with Collier sidelined after tearing ankle ligaments, the Lynx season was finished in the ugliest way possible. So when Napheesa Collier sat down for her exit interview today, everybody expected some fireworks, but nobody was ready for what came next. She pulled out a full prepared statement, 4 straight minutes of written remarks, and read them on camera with zero hesitation. Collier wasn't winging it. She came loaded with receipts, ready to put names on blast. She revealed that back in February, during the unrivaled season, she had a private sit-down with Commissioner Engelbert. Collier pressed her directly about the officiating chaos that's been wrecking games all year. And Engelbert's response? Absolutely insane. She allegedly told Collier, "Only losers complain about the refs." Imagine that. The commissioner telling one of her league's biggest stars that complaints about fairness only come from losers. But Collier didn't stop there. She went deeper. She asked about the elephant in the room. Why are stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Buchers bringing in monster revenue but still making crumbs from the league in their first 4 years? And here's the part that made the entire basketball world choke. Engelbert's alleged response was shocking. She said, Caitlin should be grateful. She makes $60 million off the court because without the platform the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And then she doubled down with something even wilder. Collier summed it up with fire. This is the mentality poisoning the league from the very top. Players are out here going to war every night, protecting a shield that doesn't even value them. The way the leadership sees it, the WNBA thrives despite its stars, not because of them. And then Collier dropped something personal that cut even deeper. After she went down with her brutal injury, players across the league checked in on her. But the commissioner? Not a single call, not a single message, nothing. Collier closed her statement with a mic drop. We have the best fans in the world. We have the best players in the world, but right now, we have the worst leadership in the world. That line shook the room. And now we need to break this down because what Engelbert allegedly said about Caitlin Clark isn't just cold, it's flat out false. The commissioner's argument that Caitlin Clark should be grateful because without the WNBA platform, she wouldn't have her $60 million in endorsements. Basically saying Clark is a nobody without them. That logic is wild, and the receipts prove it. Let's talk facts. Caitlin Clark had 11 NIL deals in college worth a staggering $3.1 million before she ever stepped foot in a WNBA arena. She walked out of Iowa already a millionaire, ranking 4th among all NIL-eligible athletes and #1 in women's basketball. Nike jumped on her early with a monster 8-year, $28 million deal that includes her very own signature shoe. The richest endorsement deal ever signed by a women's basketball player. And it didn't stop there. Gatorade, State Farm, Wilson, Gainbridge, every major brand lined up for Caitlin Clark. In 2024 alone, she pulled an estimated $11 million from endorsements, Nike leading the way. Now you want to know how much she made from her WNBA salary? That number is laughable compared to the rest. And here's where it gets ugly. That same year, Clark's WNBA salary barely cracked six figures, roughly $100,000. Do the math. Her league paycheck was literally just 1% of her total earnings. The truth is simple. The WNBA didn't build Caitlin Clark's marketability. Caitlin Clark built it herself. She became a phenomenon by dominating the game, by becoming the all-time leading scorer in Division I history, men's or women's. She did it with a play style that's electric on the court, and with a personality and work ethic so magnetic that every major brand wanted to link their name to hers. And here's where the commissioner's logic really falls apart. The timeline doesn't even add up. The league's shiny new media rights deal? That monster jumped from $33 million with ESPN to about $200 million a year split across Disney, ESPN, NBC, and Amazon. Those numbers were locked in before Clark even played a single WNBA game. The contract was signed before she touched the floor. So how could the league claim credit for her earning power? If anything, it's the other way around. Clark is the one making the league more valuable by the day. The receipts prove it. ESPN viewership shot up 170% to 1.2 million viewers per game in 2024. Teams sold over 400,000 tickets in just 1 month. 21 games pulled over 1 million viewers each. And 18 of those games had Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever front and center. Her presence turned Indiana into gold. The Fever's franchise valuation spiked 273% from 2024 to 2025, and league-wide, average franchise values surged 180%. One Harvard economist even said it straight. Clark being worth 1,000 times her salary and franchise value is not inconceivable. That's how massive her impact is. So when the commissioner sits back and tells Napheesa Collier that Caitlin Clark should be grateful to the WNBA, it doesn't just sound tone-deaf. It sounds backwards. Because the reality is, the WNBA should be thanking Caitlin Clark every single day. She laces up and brings millions of eyes and millions of dollars into their league. It's straight up delusional. And here's why this whole mess matters even more. The WNBA's collective bargaining agreement expires October 31st, literally next month. And right now, players and league officials are sitting miles apart on a new deal. To understand the chaos, you gotta look at how the money actually works. The current WNBA salary cap, just over $1.5 million per team. The maximum salary, around $250,000. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's rookie deal pays her only $78,000 this season. Compare that to the NBA, where the salary cap is $140.5 million, more than 100 times higher. Now, before anyone jumps in with the NBA makes more money excuse, here's the truth. The women aren't even asking for NBA-level salaries. What the players want is simple: revenue sharing. NBA players get about 49 to 51% of all basketball-related income. WNBA players? They scrape by with 9.3%. That's it. And the demand isn't crazy. They just want their percentage to rise as the league grows, the same way it works in the NBA. Now here's where the tension explodes. The league's latest offer, according to insiders, would push salaries and the cap way higher. Some say max deals could hit $1 million. Sounds flashy, right? But there's a catch. It's still locked into the same fixed model. Salaries only rise at a preset pace, instead of being tied to how much money the league is actually pulling in. That means players never get their fair cut of the real profits. And let's not forget that massive media rights deal Engelbert bragged about, where she allegedly said players should be on their knees thanking her. That deal is worth $2.2 billion over 11 years. $200 million a year. On top of that, the league is stacking expansion fees of $250 million per new team, planning to grow from 12 franchises to 18 by 2030. The money is flowing like never before, but the players who built that value? They're still stuck begging for scraps while being told to be grateful. That's the powder keg sitting under the league right now. The WNBA is finally about to turn a profit for the first time in its history. And the players want a piece of that growth. Sounds fair, right? But based on what Collier just exposed, Engelbert's attitude is basically, you should be grateful we're paying you anything at all. That's the power dynamic, and that's exactly why July's All-Star Game was such a statement moment. Players pulled up in warm-ups rocking shirts that read, "Pay us what you owe us." Caitlin Clark wore one, Angel Reese wore one, every single star had it on. It was a united front that hit millions of screens because of how massive the All-Star audience was. The message couldn't be ignored, except it kinda was. During All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, players sat down with league reps in what was supposed to be a breakthrough meeting. But insiders called it a missed opportunity. Players left the room frustrated because both sides were still locked in a stalemate over revenue sharing. The CBA runs out in just weeks, and if nothing changes, 2026 could open with a full-blown lockout, right when the league finally has momentum exploding like never before. And don't think the players are bluffing. Multiple stars, including Angel Reese and Tajona Carrington, have already said publicly they're ready to sit out games if it comes to that. The union hasn't officially declared a work stoppage yet, but WNBA President Nneka Ogwumike made it clear. They'd be failing their members if they didn't warn them to prepare for the worst. So now you see why Napheesa Collier's words hit like dynamite. This isn't just one player venting after a heartbreaking loss. It's one of the league's biggest names calling out the system from the inside. And sources say she wasn't even speaking in a role as part of the players' union executive committee. She was speaking as herself. That makes it even louder, even more raw. This is a superstar risking her own rep to say what everyone's been whispering. This isn't just anybody talking, it's Napheesa Collier, the runner-up in MVP voting, one of the most respected players in the game, putting the commissioner on blast in the most public way possible. And the crazy part, she's not wrong about a single word. The officiating has been a mess, straight up embarrassing. We saw it in the playoffs when coaches got fined and suspended just for calling it out. We saw it when Caitlin Clark got hacked all season with no protection. And we saw it again with Collier's own season-ending injury on a play that should have been whistled a foul. Collier said the league keeps hiding behind one word during CBA talks: sustainability. That's their favorite excuse for why they can't pay players what they're worth. But Collier flipped it perfectly. What's truly unsustainable is trying to sell a premium product while letting refs lose control of games and put stars at risk. Fans don't want chaos, they want basketball. And here's the genius part. Collier didn't just bring up Caitlin Clark randomly, she timed it. She knows Clark has the biggest, loudest, most passionate fan base in all of women's basketball. By exposing that Engelbert essentially dismissed Clark's value and said she should be grateful for scraps, Collier just rallied Clark Nation to the players' side in these CBA battles. And let's keep it real. Clark's fans aren't going to sit quietly when they hear the commissioner thinks their favorite star should just be thankful, while she's the one driving ratings, selling tickets, and pouring millions into the league's pockets. For once, Clark's massive influence is being leveraged in a positive way, and it's the union, not the league, using it. And let's not forget, Collier isn't just a player, she's also a boss. Her side project, Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 league she co-founded with Brianna Stewart, just got valued at a whopping $340 million. They're reportedly paying players an average of over $220,000. That's almost equal to the WNBA's max salary. Collier is showing with receipts that change isn't just possible, it's already happening outside the league. Running Unrivaled has opened Collier's eyes. She's seen firsthand what it looks like when leadership actually values and respects players. And now, when she compares that to how the WNBA operates, the difference is night and day. The league's dysfunction isn't normal, and it definitely isn't necessary. Some critics might say Collier has a conflict of interest, that she's just pushing players toward Unrivaled and away from the WNBA. But that misses the real point. What she's actually doing is putting the WNBA face-to-face with something it's never had before: real competition. For decades, the WNBA was the only game in town for elite women's basketball in the US. Now, there's Unrivaled. There's Athletes Unlimited. Suddenly, the WNBA has to fight to keep talent, and judging by the chaos, they're not handling it well. And let's be clear, this situation is unprecedented. Nobody really knows how it plays out. Maybe the WNBA comes to its senses, recognizes that the players hold all the leverage, and finally delivers a fair deal with real revenue sharing. Or maybe it all collapses into a work stoppage, a lockout that would torch the league's momentum at the exact moment it should be celebrating its rise. But one thing's undeniable. Napheesa Collier just flipped the entire conversation on its head. By exposing private talks with Engelbert, by putting actual quotes out there, and by tying Caitlin Clark's name directly into the fight, she forced this battle into the mainstream where nobody can ignore it. And for Caitlin Clark herself, even though she never said a word, her name is now locked onto the biggest labor dispute in WNBA history. Think about that. The commissioner of the league apparently believes Clark should be thankful for the opportunity to earn $78,000 a year, while she's out here driving ratings, selling out arenas, and pumping hundreds of millions into the league's value. That's not just a bad look, it's a ticking time bomb. Think about that for a second. The person who's supposed to be leading women's basketball into the future doesn't even realize that Caitlin Clark is the future. The next month is make-or-break territory. The CBA negotiations are about to decide the fate of the league. The players, more united, louder, and bolder than ever. The commissioner, based on what Collier revealed, completely out of touch with the very stars who made this league relevant in the first place. And don't overlook this. Clark's massive fan base is now locked in on labor negotiations they probably never cared about before. That's millions of voices, millions of eyeballs, and millions of dollars ready to pressure the league. This isn't just basketball anymore. It's about respect, value, and whether the people who actually put in the work get to share in the rewards they create. Napheesa Collier ripped the mask off today, and now the truth is out in the open for everyone to see. The commissioner's words, the league's mindset, the players' frustration, none of that can be hidden anymore. The question is, what happens next? So now I'm throwing it to you. Whose side are you on? Do you think the WNBA should hold off on paying players more until profits stabilize? Or do you believe this is the moment to finally give them their fair cut? Drop your take in the comments right now. I want to hear from every single one of you. And if you want more unfiltered breakdowns on the biggest stories in basketball, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. This story is just getting started, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. I'll see you on the next one.